So the V-up with the hand to toes and then elbow to knee is a really fun exercise just because you're switching up consistently. It's not going to get repetitive. It's fun to do, and you're hitting different muscle groups, different angles in the muscle groups, I might add, that you wouldn't hit if you didn't switch the two. You can tell I'm leaning on my glute. Majority of it's on the glute. You're not completely on the hip, on the side. And I'm coming all the way up to my elbow on both of them, and then fully extending back down. You can tell my arm is at about 45 degrees. So as always, you want to breathe out on the way up, and you want to breathe in on the way down. Get rid of a lot of the intra-abdominal pressure coming up, and you can engage the core a lot better. Engage that transverse abdominis and the obliques, just much better. But staying on your glute, remember 45 degrees with the arm coming all the way up to the elbow, and just make sure when you bring your elbow to knee, you're not pulling your head. You're supporting your head if you need be, but don't pull it and deviate the neck and the cervical spine too much. Just have fun with it, and if it's too much, take a break. These pelvic press with a tilt at the very top and a twist at the top is harder than they look, I promise you. So it's tough to get your hips up too high. That's fine. Even a few inches off the ground is excellent. I mean, even an inch off the ground is excellent. These are really, really hard to exercise, and the twist at the top just engages those abs a lot better and a lot more effectively. You can tell it's getting a little bit harder for me at the very end, but you want to breathe out as your knees come up and breathe in as they come back down. Push off the hands, that's perfectly fine, and you're gonna lift your shoulders and head up a little bit. That's gonna help keep more tension on the abs, and then driving those hips up as high as you can. Keeping your knees at 90 degrees, driving your knees to the ceiling, and your knees are stacked right above your hips. This side plank is a modified version. Again, it's fun because you're constantly switching sides. You're not burning out all one side, but it's still a great core exercise. It's a good one to do for time. And just switching completely, turning to the side, make sure the elbow stays below the shoulder. Make sure your hand goes straight up to the ceiling, and then coming back down into that plank with the elbow still below shoulder. And just with any plank, you don't want your hips to rotate too much. You want to keep your hips more in a posterior pelvic tilt, and then driving the abs up towards the spine. So you want to take your lower back kind of towards the ceiling and keeping your core stable the entire time. Alternating Aussie toe touches, one of the hardest ones. Keeping your shoulders off the ground, your upper back is off the ground, head's off the ground, your arms are out perpendicular to your body and keeping them straight, and then your legs are staying straight. You're just basically smacking or touching the inside of the foot on either side, alternating back and forth like an airplane, and just keeping constant tension on those abs. This is a very tough one to do, so if you need a rest, drop your feet, even taking elbows to knees into a bicycle crunch, that's a little bit easier version, but these are a great one to add in. Elevated bird dogs are something you don't see a whole lot, but they're very much needed. Elevating the knees makes it go from a 2 to a 10. It's easily one of the harder exercises. Keeping your knee just slightly off the ground. Don't raise them too high. If you raise them a little bit higher than just a couple inches off the ground, it will take a lot of pressure off your abs. You want to try to keep your back parallel to the ground and flat. Draw your abs in just like the other ones. You want to bring your abs and your belly button towards your spine and really keep that intra-abdominal pressure tight the entire time. You can see I'm not rotating my hips too much. I'm trying to keep my hips square to the ground the whole time. And same with the shoulders. Try not to turn the shoulders too much. And try to get a couple second hold at the top every single time, coming back down to neutral position. The hollow rock hold with a flutter kick, flutter kicks rather, is another tough one. A lot of lower abs, but the hollow rock hold with your hands behind the head and your shoulders and the head elevated is going to put a lot more pressure on the upper abs as well. So it takes a lot more off the spine and off the lower back muscles and the paraspinals, and it puts it more into the rectus abdominis, lower abs. You may feel some hip flexors, but honestly, when you raise those shoulders up, you are going to hit a lot more of the rectus abdominis, lower and upper. It's just an excellent one to do. Keeping your back as flat as you can. It's just much better for your back, much better for your abs, and in the long run, it's going to give you a lot better abs a lot quicker than a regular flutter kick. These high plank step outs with the feet are probably something you don't see a whole lot either. It's an excellent exercise. If you do have some lower back injury, just be cautious. Don't go back too far initially and slowly work back a little further each rep. You want to keep your hands obviously in the same placement and keeping your shoulders above the hands initially, and then slowly just stepping your feet backwards little by little, getting as far as you can, as low to the ground as you can, and then starting to work yourself back up, just very slowly and steadily.